It's been a while since I've been live on here. Hi, YouTube. I'm also broadcasting on Periscope, so hi, Periscope. For those of you that have been hanging out with me, thank you. The color silly red. Got it. So I'm trying something new. I'd like to do a reading for, I'm going to try and go through all of the sun signs for the last week of September, just to try something new. I haven't done this before, so I've done it in another way. I've done some Mindfulness Monday for you guys, but I've never done it via sun sign. So I'm trying something new. My effort is to show you what it's like to have a reading with me, and at the same time give you some insight on the health, wealth, and relationships related to your particular sun sign. So I'm going to start with Aries, because we always start with Aries. For those of you on Periscope, I do have a YouTube account. It's the same handle, Comingouttarot. You can find it over there. Hey, Arafat. And if you're joining on YouTube, welcome. So what I've done is already prepared myself to do the reading. I have this preparation ritual that I do, and that's already done. What I'm focusing on now is, what does Aries need to know in order to best take advantage of their health, wealth, and relationships? There's a jumper for the last week of October. We're going to figure out what that jumper is. It's going to be, hi X, how are you, Jenny? All right, one more shuffle in here. Love to do a bridge, it feels good. Let's see, health. Got Isis coming up for health. Doing well, thank you. Wealth, Odin. 2 court cards so far, interesting. And our relationships, wah, wah. All right, so for Aries, one thing that I like, it is something new, I'm trying it out, Denny, so hang on. This is a reading for Aries for the last week of October. I will probably do these monthly rather than weekly, or last week of September, but I'm just trying to jump in and see how it goes and see if I like it and if you guys like it. So let me know what you think. We're in the beginning of a reading for Aries and how Aries is going to do the last week of September for health, wealth, and relationships. 3 easy blocks. The health card, as I said before, this is Isis. I think it's interesting that Isis shows up here. Isis is kind of like a CNA. I like to think of her as she's a certified nurse's aide. She's not quite a nurse, but she's ready to run to the aid of those who need help. She's ready to ensure that bandages are placed when they need to be placed, and they're all in the right spot so that everybody can do what they need to do. So it is not unusual for me at all to see Isis show up here in this health spot. In particular, for those of you that are identifying as Aries, Aries is your sun sign, to have her show up there is a clear indicator for me that health is something that needs to be taken care of very diligently in that last week of September. I think it is I want to say like a sign, let's just call it a sign, that if you're not caring for and taking care of yourself and those around you, because Isis doesn't just care for herself. Sometimes her fault is caring too much for others to her own detriment. If you're not caring for yourself and others around you, then health starts to decline. And honestly, I think that we're going to see that health decline not in yourself personally, but probably around someone who is already sacrificing a lot for everyone around them. To have have Odin show up in the space of wealth, we'll get to in a second, but the fact that Odin is just sitting there staring right at Isis, and Isis is staring right at him, he's doing everything he can for the people that are around him. and so is she. So if she doesn't care for him, she's going to have her own concern, worry. So Aries, if you don't care for the people around you, especially those who are already giving a lot, then they start to fall apart. You start to fall apart because you start to feel guilty, even though Aries probably barely even has that feeling in their bones. It'll come out. It's deep down in there. It just may not always come to the surface, Aries. But hey, yes, if you want someone to take care of you, certainly that's part of Isis's need. However, what Aries is experiencing here is the need to care for other people, which in turn cares for them. So it is about the give and take, the reciprocation. So for those of you who haven't joined on YouTube yet, Jason's over on YouTube, the Jason that you all know over here on Periscope. I'm on both at the moment. Okay, so that's the health section. Let's move on to wealth. We're going to talk a little bit more. Yeah, poor Aries. We're going to talk a little bit more about Aries sitting in the wealth space. Keep going, Denny. Keep going. To have Odin show up in our wealth space, especially for Aries, I think is something I certainly wouldn't have expected for Aries. So this is very deep. This is a very deep experience for Aries to have Odin show up here. Why is it deep? Because we've attached, Aries has attached, I shouldn't say we, Aries has attached an emotional state to their finances for that last week. They're touching kind of a raw nerve, I guess is a great way to say it. And why is that happening? Because their finances they're having to push them off into other people. If you're not already feeling like your finances are dwindling because you're caring so much for other people financially, then it's going to certainly happen in this last week. So you're going to find, I think, that it's really, really frustrating to feel like you're giving a lot out financially and you're not getting a lot back in return. However, while I think it may feel frustrating, I also think you know what you're doing and you made that choice on purpose, because Aries doesn't make choices without knowing all of the consequences within the split second that they make their decision. So it is not catastrophic, but I think it's starting to get a little tight. You're starting to figure out, well, what do I do now? But you've been around the block enough that you know how to handle the financial issues that may be coming your way. So I wouldn't worry too much. It's starting to become emotional, and when Aries gets into that emotional space, it can be unnerving for everyone around them. So just be mindful of, I would recommend to be mindful of the fact that that's happening and how you might be affecting everyone else around you. All right, so health and wealth. Let's move on to the relationship side. So on the relationship side, I'd already shown you this card, and I'm gonna bring it back again, just to remind everyone. Hey, Shaft. That in the relationship slot, we have the Three of Swords. Always a wonderful foreboding for relationships to have that Three of Swords show up. Whenever this shows up for me, especially in a relationship or just in a reading in general, the loss that occurs can be so overwhelming that it is surprising, especially to Aries who thinks they have all their ducks in a row. I think the shadow here is, how are you protecting yourself? And by that I mean, Aries, not protecting yourself from pain or frustration or loss. Thanks, show me. But have you accounted for all of the actions that are going on around you and taken those into account with all of the decisions that you're making? So for this last week, as we go into the end of September, in order to prepare yourself for what could be an incredibly emotional week, I would recommend that you take a look at what's going on around you. Take a look at how you're giving so much to others in order for them to be able to give back to you. Because in the end, I think you're going to feel like you gave more than you wanted to. So take stock, look around you, how much you're giving versus how much you're getting. There's nothing here that's out of balance, so you don't have to worry about being out of balance. I would mainly worry about is your own account book of what is correct. Is your own account book where it needs to be? Do you feel good about it? All right. Now, underpinning all of that is the Nine of the Nine of Wands. This has informed all of the other cards that I have been talking about. It is informing them. It's kind of like where I got that protection stuff from. It's informing them in a way in that it's not about someone being weary of fighting. It is more about someone being accomplished in moving quickly, efficiently, effectively, and with new promise. And to be able to do that constantly, especially coming in this next week when you've got to worry about how you're taking care of other people, how other people are taking care of you so that you feel like you're getting the reciprocal you need, but knowing that you're probably missing something, especially in your relationships, and it's going to come back around and bite you in the ass a little bit. Allow yourself to trust that you were pretty strong. You burned bright, you burned fast, you got a lot of shit done, you knocked a lot of stuff out, and you did everything you were meant to do, and you can't be superhuman. You can't get through it all yourself every time. So basically you're pushing a little hard. The more you can forgive yourself, the more you can forgive the people around you, the less stress you're going to have on your shoulders, and I think you're going to find yourself moving through the week with a little bit of ease. The challenge is to become aware enough to do that. Now, 14, 29. And then underpinning all of this is the quintessence of these numbers, which is 11 or justice to the high priestess. To have the high priestess and justice here only underscores the need to really look at your motives behind what you're doing, why you're doing it, and and ensure that you've got all the balance you need in the giving and the taking. Because that thing at the end of, with the relationship stuff, it's gonna suck a little bit, and you're just gonna have to get through that. All right, Aries, there you go. This was my first attempt. I'm gonna try and do some more of these this afternoon. So I hope this was helpful. If you see me jumping on and off and on and off, it's because I'm coming in to do these for the other signs. So I hope this is cool for you. Show me your scope. You were saying this made sense to you. You were an Aries and this made some sense. My name is Seth Bren. While I'm waiting, for those of you who haven't checked out Comingouttarot.com, do go over there and check that out. On Monday, Mindfulness Monday is going to be coming out. If you are someone who's into, I've got this one whisker that's just sticking out. If you're into mindfulness, then go sign up for Mindfulness Monday. It's a way for you to approach your week with some mindfulness, some intention, and be active in your week about how you're approaching everything, which can only support all of this other work. So I hope that's helpful for you. If it is, leave me a message below, leave me some comments. If you are looking for something more, something interesting, something a little deeper, then I really appreciate your insight. So thanks everybody, and I will see you all a little bit later.